Welcome to another edition of Reading with Rockfish. So happy you're joining me today. I'm SL Rockfish or Sarah Rockfish, whatever you want to call me. Glad you could join me. Today we're going to start it a little different. We're going to talk about reading. Excuse me. And then we're going to read a little bit from one of my favorite authors. And we're going to talk about my favorite books. Come on, I'll show you. Now, nowadays, many people read on a computer or a Kindle or a tablet of some sort. I use a Kindle for many books because I get free access, like free books from the library, and to put them on my Kindle, I don't have late fees, and they don't clutter up my house or I don't lose them. So that's a win. But I really like books I can hold in my hand. I'll show you what I mean. I love reading. You may or may not know that. My parents loved reading, and they always made sure that we kids, there were 7 of us, we all had to learn how to read and practice reading, and my parents read all the time. My mom would read a sandwich bag if there were words on it. She didn't care. She just liked to read. We got the morning newspaper. We got the evening newspaper. We got magazines up the wazoo. You don't get those things very often anymore, but we always had print in the house. Excuse me. When I was young and in like K5, my sister Susan, she bought me a book. I think I graduated from kindergarten. I just remember I was 5, and she bought me this book, Welcome to Upsy Downsy Land. Now I bring it because I like to read on a Kindle, but imagine, you can't have a Kindle 50 years from now because the books probably won't show up. But I have a book from when I was 5. This book was written all the way back in 1969. I love this book. When I was a kid, I loved it. I read it all the time. I learned how to spell the word chrysanthemum in here. I didn't know what it was, so my mom would say, sound it out. But I couldn't sound it out because there was a weird Y in there. So I read it to her, and I was like, ChrYsan. And she broke it up with me. And then I memorized it. And that was my big thing. I knew how to spell chrysanthemum when I was 5. I went into 1st grade. I knew how to spell a big word. I was like, all that. But I bring this up because was my favorite book. Now, reading my favorite book as an adult, when I read back on it, still love the graphics. This little kids always made me happy to see these drawings. Okay? But it was written by Mattel. Mattel is a huge toy company. As an adult, I look at this as a huge marketing book. When you're 5, you don't care. I wanted that toy, and I wanted that doll, and I wanted all these little things. But I didn't get them because my parents were like, no, just read the book. I reread this book the other day, and the story's not so great. But as a kid, it was the bomb. I showed this to my kids when they were little. They weren't really thrilled about it. But I reread it and I was like, it is just getting me to try to make me buy more toys. And it really didn't have much of a story or meaning. I don't care. I've kept it this long. I'm going to keep it till I die. And maybe when I die, they'll bury it with me. I don't know. But then I have another book that I really love because I just think reading is important. And I found this book in my house. I moved into the house that I grew up in like 20 some years ago. And this book I kept in the bookshelf, one of the bookshelves in the house, and I found it. And it's Charlotte's Web. I read this in 4th grade when I had a different last name. I didn't know anything about boys, and I was quite the tomboy. But this book, I remember just loving it. So I reread it the other day, and I still like it. Parents, adults, kids, read this book. It's fun. You've seen the movie. You could compare and contrast the movie to the book. But I read it one weekend because, it was cold and rainy like winters and springs are in Wisconsin. And I reread it, and it's still a good story. So I bring this up because to hold a book that you treasured, you can keep it forever. You got a really good book you read in a Kindle, it's just in a Kindle or in a tablet. No bad thing about technology because we're talking through technology, but books put that book away. And this all ties in together. I learned how to read by my parents making me read out loud to them. My mom would make us read. She'd be cooking and we'd be reading out loud. And she'd correct us because she could hear and go, I don't think that's the word. But I found a book. Found a book that I've never read by one of my favorite authors, Dr. Seuss. How many of you like Dr. Seuss? We celebrate his birthday. In fact, we probably all celebrated his birthday right before we had to close the schools. And Dr. Seuss wrote lots of books to get kids reading. Here he has Cat in the Hat reading to Tom, the little cat. Get it, Tomcat? And he's going to talk to him about learning how to read and why you need to read. So come on, let's go. I've only read this once, and that was earlier today when I was practicing. Here's the title page. I can read with my eyes shut. Can you? You ever do that saying, I could do that with my eyes closed? There are a few things I could do with my eyes closed, but I don't think reading's one of them. Okay, I can read with my eyes shut by Dr. Seuss. It says it's a beginner book. I know, we're not all beginners, but I like the books, and so I'm going to read them. And you can read beginner books too to practice your fluency, or just read to somebody you want to read to. This is dedicated to David Wortham, E.G., eye guy. Maybe he was a doctor. I can read in red. I can read in blue. I can read in pickle color too. I can read in bed and in a purple and in brown. I can read in circle and upside down. Sometimes I can read upside down. Can you? I can read with my left eye. I can read with my right eye. I can read Mississippi with my eyes shut tight. Can he really? I can spell it like chrysanthemum. M-I-S-S-I-S-S-I-P-P-I. I did it with my eyes shut. Can you? Mississippi is one of those words that we all learn when we're kids. Try it. Mississippi, Indianapolis, and hallelujah too. Those are big words. I can read them with my eyes shut. That is very hard to do. See, when you see the big capitals, you're supposed to put some emphasis. But it's bad for my hat and makes my eyebrows go red hot. So, reading with my eyes shut, I don't do an awful lot. I don't think you really can do it. You can listen to an audiobook, but that's not the same. And when I keep them open, I can read with much more speed. You have to be a speedy reader because there's so much to read. No kidding. I would love to be a speed reader. There's so many books I want to read. James Patterson, slow down, my friend. He's written 300 books. How am I going to get them all? You can read about trees and bees and knees. Love the rhymes. And knees on trees and bees on threes. I don't like bees. Uh-oh, stuck page. You can read about anchors and all about ants. You can read about ankles and crocodile pants. That's awesome. Hope they have elastic waistbands because we're all going to need them after this stay at home. Safer at home. I don't know about you, but I can't pass a snack. I can eat them with my eyes shut. You can read about hoses and how to smell roses. And what you should do about owls on noses. What should you do about owls on noses? Knock them off. Take a look at the art. Young cat, if you keep your eyes open enough, oh, the stuff you will learn, the most wonderful stuff you will learn about. What will we learn about? Fishbones and wishbones. You'll learn about trombones too. You'll learn about Jake the pillow snake and all about Foo-Foo the snoo. I don't know too many snoos, do you? You can learn about ice. You can learn about mice. Mice on ice and ice on mice. Huh? You can learn about the price of ice. The nice ice for sale, 10 cents a pail. Love his rhymes. You can learn about not so. You can learn about sad, emphasis on sad. You can learn about sad. You can learn about glad and mad. Don't be mad. The world's full of too many mad people. There are so many things you can learn about, but you'll miss the best things if you keep your eyes shut. Open your eyes. The more that you read, the more things you will know. The more that you learn, the more places you'll go. Isn't that a book? Oh, the places you'll go? Perhaps it's a sequel. I never saw that before. Ta-da! You might learn a way to earn a few dollars. Couldn't we all use those in these days? Or how to make donuts or kangaroo collars. I didn't even know kangaroos needed collars. What? You can learn to read music and play a hutzut if you keep your eyes open but not with them shut. I don't know. Maybe learning how to play a hutzut with your eyes shut would be kind of fun. If you read with your eyes shut, you're likely to find that the place where you're going is far, far behind. Look at that. Don't get lost. So that's why I tell you to keep your eyes wide. Keep them wide open, at least on one side. The end. And there's a little thing about Dr. Seuss. Theodore Seuss Geisel is one of the most beloved children's book authors of all time. Ain't that the truth? So, I like any Dr. Seuss book. I really do. And I think I'm going to do a Dr. Seuss week or two. Because, see, I have this one tomorrow. Fox and Socks. I have the Butter Battle book. Cat in the Hat. Green Eggs and Ham. I want to read them all. So, practice reading, or read with your eyes shut, or try to list some things you can do with your eyes shut. Have you ever tried to draw with your eyes shut and then take it off and then draw the same picture with your eyes open? Or vice versa. Don't drive with your eyes shut, because that's bad. But I just thought you would like this book. I'd like to share my favorite books with you. I'd love to read Charlotte's Web, but it's too long. That would be like a mini series. If you grew up in the 70s and 80s, you know what that's like. They can go on and on and on. And I just hope that you all have a favorite book somewhere in your bookcases or at the library that you go get and you can read over and over. I got a bunch. But those are the two that I've had the longest. And my parents had some books that have short stories that someday I'll read on YouTube. But for now, Charlotte's Web, Upsy Downsy Land. Upsy Downsy Land doesn't stand the test of time, but I keep it because I just like the graphics and it brings back good memories. Charlotte's Web stands the test of time. It means you can read it now and in 50 years from now and it's still going to be good. Hope you all are doing well through this coronavirus. Safer at home, stay at home, wherever your state is or country is, and lockdown, unlock, we don't know. I hope you're getting along good. I hope you're doing some reading. Hope you're opening your eyes to see what's around outside. And sometimes you need to just shut them and block everything out. But don't read with your eyes shut, okay? Thank you for joining me. I hope to see you again. And remember, we're going to get through this, okay? Peace, friends.